Good morning. I'm Natalie with KQNK. Today is Wednesday, February 21st. Currently, with fair skies, it is 33 degrees. The humidity is 78%. The wind speed is northwest at 3 miles per hour. The barometric pressure is 29.88, and the dew point is 27 degrees. It's 8:04 and time for Kansas News.
Kansas Information Network News, I'm Jen Austin. Well, mark your calendars for the kindergarten roundup on March 4th at Hayes High School.
Kids must be 5 years old by August 31st to enroll. If you're new to the district, it's important to attend. Lincoln Elementary Principal Carrie Lacey.
You will hear from our superintendent, our assistant superintendent. All of the elementary principals will be there. We will need a copy of your birth certificate, immunization records, all of that good stuff we'll have to have.
Kindergartners need a physical, too. After the roundup, there'll be tours on March 5th and 7th to meet the teachers. I'm J.P. Bazette.
The Kansas Turnpike Authority is sharing plans for its upcoming 2024 construction season. That includes 13 new projects and 7 projects carried over from 2023. The projects include guardrail improvements from the Oklahoma border to South Wichita, toll plaza demolitions in South Wichita and Lecompton. And overall, the 20 projects represent an investment of $57.8 million in the roadway. Construction season kicks off in mid-March. This is Kansas Information Network News.
Whether taking on large commercial landscapes or your own backyard, let Steel help with your pursuit of the perfect cut. Introducing Steel zero-turn mowers for homeowners and pros. With a wide range of features and options, like our advanced 4-wheel suspension system and 0% financing available, it's time to let the pursuit begin. Real Steel. Find yours at steelusa.com/zero-turn. Available at select dealers. Financing available on qualifying purchases and subject to credit approval. See dealer for details.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays. The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA.
Good morning. I'm Natalie Hadley with your KQNK News. Brought to you by Firebolt Ag, LLC, serving all of your chemical and fertilizer needs. A Hayes man was apprehended following a report of an alleged domestic disturbance and strangulation on Tuesday morning in Hayes. Hayes Police Chief Don Schleiber said that 44-year-old Hayes resident Timothy Don Walker allegedly assaulted a woman by gripping her neck and strangling her. And he also allegedly threatened to kill her and another man at the residence who had called police. Schleiber said the victim allegedly escaped from Walker before police arrived at the scene at 11:23 a.m. When police arrived, they attempted to de-escalate the situation in the backyard. However, Walker refused to comply with the officers' commands. And when officers attempted to cuff him, he physically resisted, which led to him being tased. By 11:35 a.m., Walker was in custody and was taken to the Ellis County Jail. Walker and the female victim had allegedly previously been in a relationship, and physical evidence aligns with the victim's account that Walker choked her. Walker was arrested on requested charges of aggravated domestic battery, criminal damage, and interference with law enforcement. You can find information and resources for domestic violence at the National Domestic Violence Hotline website, thehotline.org, as well as through Options Domestic and Sexual Violence Services, which provides advocacy services in all of Northwest Kansas. You can walk into an Options office in Hayes or in Colby. You can call Options 24-hour helpline at 1-800-794-4624, or you can text the word HOPE to 847-411. A live chat option or a virtual video conference with an advocate is also available on the Options website at help4abuse.org. An attempt to override Governor Kelly's veto of a bill that would create a single income tax rate for all Kansans failed on Tuesday, 81-42. Republicans needed 84 votes to override the governor's decision. GOP lawmakers promoted the bill as simplifying the tax code, exempting the first $6,150 in income for Kansans, and establishing a 5.25% rate on income after that. Though Governor Kelly said the bill would hurt middle and lower class Kansans while giving a tax break to those in higher brackets. She offered a three-tier option that would tax the lowest income earners at 3.1%. The middle rate is 5.25%, and the higher incomes are taxed at 5.7%. The governor said lawmakers need to work together on responsibly cutting taxes for middle-class families, and she said she would call for a special session if no agreement could be reached. Law enforcement authorities are investigating a suspect on multiple potential charges after a standoff in northwest Kansas. According to a media release from the Sheriff's Department, just before 10 a.m. on Tuesday, the 911 center in Thomas County received information of an ongoing incident of a possible armed intruder. The situation was changed to a hostage situation and a barricaded suspect, so law enforcement officers from the Colby Police Department, the Thomas County Sheriff's Office, the Kansas Highway Patrol, and the Kansas Bureau of Investigation arrived on the scene, and a perimeter was established. And while trying to establish contact with someone inside, one of the hostages was able to climb out of a bedroom window. It was then determined that there were 3 female adult hostages still inside with 2 children. The hostage taker was a 41-year-old man who had driven from Texas to locate the individuals in the house, and a car with Texas plates was in the alley behind the home. At around 10:38 a.m., the man eventually walked out of the house with the hostages and was taken into custody, and he was being held at the Thomas County Jail. The sheriff's office did not release the name of the suspect or the possible charges. People living in Kansas and Missouri may be hearing their local tornado sirens sound off early in March due to a statewide drill, and the National Weather Service said this is part of Severe Weather Preparedness Week, which runs from March 4th through the 8th. The drill is to be treated as if there is an active tornado warning throughout the states of Missouri and Kansas. According to the National Weather Service, this test is meant to check everyone's preparedness for real, life-threatening severe weather events like tornadoes, flash floods, and damaging winds. Local officials are being encouraged to sound their warning sirens to start the drill, which is currently scheduled for 11 a.m. on Wednesday, March 6th. And during the drill, the NOAA's All Hazards Weather Radio will also be turned on to signal the start of the drill. While participation is not mandatory, the National Weather Service recommends people treat it as if it was the real thing by sheltering in place or talking about sheltering options with family and friends. In Nebraska news, the York Sheriff's Office reported that a dog helped deputies find several pounds of marijuana on Sunday in an RV near York. The Sheriff's Office said that at around 11:30 a.m. on Sunday, a deputy pulled over an RV on Interstate 80 just south of York, and it's unknown why the vehicle was pulled over. During the traffic stop, the deputy became suspicious that the driver was involved in criminal activity, and Loki, a police service dog, alerted deputies to drugs inside the motorhome. Deputies searched the vehicle and found roughly 400 pounds of marijuana. The driver was arrested on suspicion of marijuana trafficking. A Nebraska inmate who had been missing from a local correction center since 2022 has been arrested. According to the Nebraska Department of Correctional Services, the Omaha Police Department successfully apprehended Devontae Persia, who had been missing from the Community Correction Center in Omaha. Persia was reported missing in November of 2022 after he left the center to go to his place of employment. He had been sentenced in 2016 on charges of burglary and theft by deception in Douglas County. He was taken into custody earlier on Thursday, February 15th, and booked into the Douglas County Correctional Center. The Community Correction Center Omaha is the least restrictive type of facility in the state prison system, where inmates are allowed to go to work, school, or religious services unsupervised. One person is in jail following a hoax call of an active shooter at Gateway Mall on Saturday night in Lincoln. The Lincoln Police Department said officers responded just before 7:30 p.m. for a report of an active shooter at Ross Dress for Less. They said that officers responded quickly as they received information the caller was still in the area. Lincoln Police Department officers located the caller and determined there was never an active shooter. The call was a prank and there was no threat to the public. The caller was then arrested. I'll be back with more in just a moment.
Firebolt Ag is a full-service fertilizer and chemical retailer. They customize products for individual farmers' needs, with the primary focus being customer profitability. Let Josh and Jack help you get the most out of your farm ground. They also provide in-house marketing with Ron Wall of Flatwater Solutions. Visit Ron in Phillipsburg or call Josh at 785-854-8484 or Jack at 308-840-2819. Firebolt Ag, your leader in agriculture.
Now we'll hear from Fig Millen and Norton's head wrestling coach, Bill Brockelman, to update on the wrestlers and their upcoming state meets this weekend.
I'm here with high school wrestling coach Bill Brockelman. Coach, an exciting weekend for you as Norton hosted the 3-2-1 regional wrestling tournament, and second place for you, and that was a nice little extra for you. 2 champs, 3 seconds, 1 third, and a fourth. Let's talk about that day.
That day we started off great. We were real dominant in those first couple of rounds, and I was really happy with how the boys competed. But as everyone knows, this regional was one of the toughest, so we started hitting those semifinals matches. We started dropping a few. We ended up punching 5 into the finals, and 4 of our kids got knocked back to the backside, but those kids fought hard, and I was really proud of the way they competed. We had 2 fall just short. They competed really hard and fell just short in the blood rounds, and that's always heartbreaking and gut-wrenching to watch, but I was really proud of those guys. They held their chin high and held their composure and kept it all together, because it's an event. It's tough to watch. It's tough to feel. There's a lot of emotions running, so I was really proud of those guys. We always talk about you win like you lose and you lose like you win, so they did a great job of that, and they were great sports.
Now, also on top of that, Hoxie was the winner of the regional. You finished second, like we mentioned, and third was Phillipsburg, but most of the day you stayed in second place, but then Phillipsburg had a nice little run there, and they moved up to second, and then, of course, later in the matches that you did finally secure the second place.
Yeah, they jumped ahead of us right before the placing matches, and we kind of started the finals off a little rough. They were good matches. We just didn't quite get it done, but we competed very well. And then we got to our big boys, and they all 3 kind of put the hammer to the floor, and we ended up getting 3 wins in a row. Some of those were huge for us for the seeding in the state bracket, and we ended up pulling ahead of Phillipsburg, which was awesome.
Now, with a lot of great performances by your kids, that you have the Wrestler of the Week as the team.
Yeah, we chose the team not only because we wrestled great, but even the girls, they were a huge help getting the tournament set up, running the tournament, tearing stuff down, pulling the bleachers out. Our whole team did a great job running a great tournament, and we also wrestled extremely well as a team, so I was really proud of the team as a whole.
Now, it's this week on Thursday is the start of the state tournament, but Wednesday you'll have a practice, and then, of course, the community can get involved with the send-off on Wednesday night.
Yep, we'll have our send-off at 6:30 p.m. At the wrestling room. We're expecting quite a few people, because it'll include our boys and our girls, because this year they're all in one place, which will be kind of nice. We won't be running for 4 days straight. So we'll get started at 6:30 for our send-off.
Like you mentioned, that the girls will also be involved at the same venue at the Tony Pizza Event Center in Salina. The girls start out at 1:30 and the boys at 5:15. Of course, the girls 4-3-2-1A. What do you know about the bracketing for the girls?
We're set up pretty nice. Especially this first round, I think we can get these first rounds pretty easily. We'll have some more tough second rounds, but that's just going to be how the state tournament is. It's going to get harder the farther we go. There's not going to be any easy matches. But if I think our girls show up and compete, we can hopefully bring home some hardware and hopefully crown some of our first ever state medalists for the girls, so that'll be awesome.
Of course, the girls that are participating in the state tournament, Dana Bailey, which will be representing Northern Valley, but still worked out with the Norton girls throughout the year. Then it'll be Kenya Goss. She had a first-place finish there, too. Now, for the boys, that you do have 7 qualifiers. They start at 5:15, and how's the matchup for those?
The matchups, depending on how they did, they're either really good or some of them drew some tough first-round matches, but we think they're all winnable. So we're excited for the boys. Corbin and Colton were our 2 champions. They have probably the best draws. And then we had 3 runner-ups, Caleb, Derek, and Brennan. They have pretty good draws as well. Logan and Jayton were our 3rd and our 4th. And we think those first-round matches are very winnable because we felt like our region was definitely the toughest out of all of them. They haven't wrestled anybody not as tough as these guys that they're going to see first round, so it should be good for us.
Now, on Friday, the girls will start at noon at the Tony's Pizza Event Center, and then the boys at 2. Now, on Saturday, it'll be a 9 o'clock start for everyone there. What can you tell us a little bit about Friday and Saturday?
So Friday, they will wrestle one round of backside, then the semis, and then the consi quarters or the blood rounds. And then on Saturday, they will wrestle the semis on 4 mats with everybody, and then they will wrestle third and fourth or fifth and sixth on all mats, third and fourth on all mats, then they'll break down to 3 mats for the finals.
Okay, so the finals could be about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon?
That's a pretty good estimate.
Well, Coach, we're going to wish you the best luck when you travel down to Salina for the state tournament. Also a reminder that your send-off is on Wednesday night at 6:30 at the Wrestling Room. Reporting for KQ&K, I'm Fig Millen.
Thank you, Fig and Coach Brockelman, and good luck to all of the wrestlers in their state meet starting tomorrow. On Tuesday, Governor Kelly directed flags to be flown at half-staff from sunrise until sunset on Saturday, February 24th, in honor of Elizabeth Lisa Lopez Galvin, a Kansan who died in the shooting at the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl parade and rally, and also for the 22 other victims injured on Wednesday, February 14th. Governor Kelly said the senseless violence turned a day that should have been filled with joyous celebration into a tragedy, and Kansans and the entire Kansas City community are mourning the loss of Lisa Lopez Galvin, a DJ and mother of 2 from Shawnee. She said she's grieving for the family and for all of the victims and their loved ones. Your menu today for Northern Valley schools: for lunch, you'll be having roast beef, bread, potatoes, vegetable, and fruit. I'm Natalie Hadley. Your KQ&K News was brought to you by Firebolt Ag, LLC, farmers helping farmers to succeed. You can contact Firebolt Ag today to get the most out of your farmland. Your KQ&K weather forecast is being brought to you by Hinkle Termite and Pest Control, your Norton experts for all of your pest control needs. Your forecast for today: it should be mostly sunny with the high near 66 and a northwest wind around 5 miles per hour, which should become northeast in the afternoon. For tonight, it should be mostly cloudy, then gradually becoming mostly clear with a low around 39 and a northeast wind of 5 to 15 miles per hour. On Thursday, it should be mostly cloudy, then gradually becoming sunny with the high near 60 and breezy with wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. And on Thursday night, it should be mostly clear with a low around 32. I'll be back with the rest of your forecast in just a moment.
When you've got bugs, we don't want a nuisance that can be.
Lock 'em out. From Hinkle Termite and Pest Control, Lock 'em Out is our very effective residential insect prevention program. We'll come to your place and treat your foundation plus all insect entryways. And while we're there, receive a free termite inspection. Call Mr. Rich Wenzel, our certified technician in Norton, at 785-202-0167. That's 202-0167.
Continuing with your weather forecast, on Friday it should be sunny with the high near 61 and breezy. On Saturday, sunny with the high near 65. On Sunday, sunny with the high near 70. On Monday, it should be mostly sunny with the high near 76. And on Tuesday, mostly sunny with the high near 59 and breezy. Currently, with fair skies, it is 33 degrees. The humidity is 78%. The wind speed is northwest at 3 miles per hour. The barometric pressure is 29.88, and the dew point is 27 degrees. Your weather was brought to you by Hinkle Termite and Pest Control right here in Norton. You can call Hinkle Termite and Pest Control at 785-202-0167 for all of your pest control needs. It is 8:23.
With today's inflation straining your budget, your Kansas Farm Bureau membership can help keep more money in your pocket. Save up to 75% off preferred home and office products with Office Depot. Special package pricing with Lifeline screenings. Exclusive savings on post-frame buildings with QSI. And join the Kansans who've switched to Kansas Farm Bureau health plans. And enjoy significant savings on nationwide medical health care coverage. Join today. For a full list of benefits, visit kfb.org/benefits.
Your Kansas Sports Report is being brought to you by United Northwest Federal Credit Union, where everything they do for you.
This February, get a sweetheart of a deal on an auto loan at United Northwest Federal Credit Union with 5.25% APR on a 2018 or newer vehicle loan. Qualifying members may enroll in any of our loan add-on products and lower that APR even more. Purchase money loans only, and other terms and conditions may apply. All loans are subject to UNW FCU credit approval standards. Contact one of our friendly loan officers for more information. This deal is only valid February 1st through February 28th, so hurry in. UNW FCU is an equal housing lender and federally insured by NCUA.
KIN Sports, I'm Spencer Dupuy. NFL writer for Sports Illustrated Matt Verderam was on 580 WIBW yesterday, and he talked about the likelihood of the Chiefs being able to re-sign L'Jarius Sneed and Chris Jones.
I have gone back and forth on this 1,000 times, whether it's because you get different information from people around the situation, league as the years played out, or just gut feel. Strictly looking at it, knowing how the Chiefs operate, I think the most unlikely outcome is that they're both gone. I don't see any scenario that happens. Even if they tag one of them, I think it is considerably more likely that they're both back than that they're both gone. But if you said the most likely of the other scenarios, I would say that Jones back and Sneed not would be my answer. And I've gone back and forth on that a few times because, frankly, Sneed has been spectacular. He's younger. I don't care. Even if he's top of the cornerback market, he's still cheaper. I talked to some people in the league, and the general thought was about 3 years and $45 million. Jones, the consensus was much higher. 4 and 110.
KIN Sports, I'm Spencer Dupuy.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 in the morning, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad.
Norton County Hospital and Medical Clinic would like to remind you that you have the power to protect yourself from heart disease. Making preventative appointments with your primary care provider is the best step in keeping your heart health in check. Small, heart-healthy actions like adding more movement to your day or choosing healthy foods can have a big impact on protecting your heart as well. Start today. Your heart will thank you tomorrow.
Kansas Agriculture Network Markets.
Good day, everyone. I'm Slade Wiley. Right now, let's get a check of the weather.
Good morning. A warming trend will continue across the state with a ridge of high pressure in the central and southern plains. Meanwhile, we have an upper-level trough of low pressure along the west coast, a disturbance approaching southern California, and a low-pressure system in the Missouri River Valley that's going to be bringing in some moisture. A disturbance as well to the west of us that will race to the east but weaken along the way. Despite that, we have some thunderstorms that will likely occur in southeastern Kansas tonight and overnight with the potential of hail and strong wind gust. A frontal boundary pushes through. Tomorrow, cooler with a high in the 60s. Warming up, though, this weekend. This morning, soil temperatures are in the low 40s across the state. And in northwestern Kansas, sunny today with a high 65. Partly cloudy, 68 likely in north central Kansas. And in northeastern Kansas, sunny with a high in the low 70s. Southwestern Kansas, variable clouds today are high 75. Or south central Kansas, partly cloudy with a high in the mid-70s. And in the southeastern part of the state, sunny with a high 75. Thunderstorms tonight. I'm meteorologist Ann Holiday.
Thank you very much for that check of the weather. Now, nearby cattle saw pressure on Tuesday, closing slightly lower with later contracts holding the line. Traders are waiting for cash and looking ahead to the upcoming cattle on feed reports. Hogs broke above resistance but could not hold on to the strong gains with only a moderate close. Corn futures are slightly lower this morning after 2 days a two-sided session that ultimately resulted in a slightly higher close in the March futures. Trade was supported by another good week of export inspections. Soybean futures are also lower this morning after Tuesday's rally, which resulted in a 2-day gain of nearly 17 cents. As far as wheat is concerned, they are also lower despite a strong technical session on Tuesday. This has been a check of the weather and markets here on the Kansas Ag Network.